Hey, it's Kasim with Solutions 8, and I want to talk to you about some Google catalyzed shenanigans. As a matter of fact, not to be dramatic, this is the death rattle. Like, what has happened now, what I'm about to share with you, is there's been this ongoing march towards automation and, taking agencies out of it and limiting the scope and the control that people have over their Google Ads campaigns. And what Google is now recommending is, this is it. This is the canary in the coal mine. And what's interesting too is it might actually not be a bad thing for the end user. So for people that want to run ads on Google, this could be to their benefit. Maybe it helps improve their performance without having to pay jokers like me. So this is bad for agencies. I don't know what it's going to do for consumers just yet. Google published this November 16th. I'm recording this video on November 18th, so this is 2 days old. And basically what they're asking for is they want people to start using broad match keywords alongside smart bidding. And now, here's the thing. They've said this before. And they've said it before, and it was a catastrophic error every single time. We've tested it. You've probably seen some of my videos. I've got the screenshot where I show you the keyword that we bid on and then the search term that we received, and it was just like an abysmal wreck of a failure. However, Google's coming back around saying, nope, time to try it again, basically. Use broad match and smart bidding, and Google claims that we'll get more relevant search queries. Now, what's scary about it is it actually kind of makes sense. Is Google's machine learning, I guess, has gotten so good that now it's able to take a broad match term and then expand that semantically and decide, in the example that they use, I actually think is a pretty good one. They say, if we wanted to bid on women's hats, their broad match is going to allow us to bid on things like winter headwear for women or women's accessories. Now, just pause there for just a moment. There's a really big difference between women's hats and women's accessories. And this has actually been our problem with broad match, historically speaking, is the fact that it's just so far reaching and they go so crazy with some of their expansion opportunities. However, because, according to them, the pairing between broad match and smart bidding is going to put you in a position where Google's going to, basically do what it does with enhanced CPC, which is try to identify when there's an auction that you can win. And with broad match, instead of just identifying the auction within the confines of the search terms that you're providing, Google's kind of taking the 70 million demographic and psychographic profiling factors on every human being on the planet and deciding, I actually think this person's going to buy from this advertiser, regardless of how close the search terms are. What's scary is I believe them. Now, I haven't tested this. I haven't done it. I'm afraid to. I have to go find a client that doesn't mind being a guinea pig and make the disclaimer that chances are this is going to fail because it's failed every time we've ever done it. We'll, of course, test it for ourselves. But I do think if it doesn't work right away or if it doesn't work now, this will work ultimately. Sooner or later, you're going to go to Google and you're going to say, here's my domain name, here's my credit card, go. God bless you. Best of luck. And this is the biggest step I've seen towards that since smart shopping. Smart shopping really did a lot to take a lot of the control out of the advertiser's hands. What's interesting is it created this whole second layer of, things that you needed to do. So had you told me about smart shopping a year before it actually launched and told me it would be successful, I would tell you, well, there goes every, agency's ability to help advertise for e-commerce stores. And interestingly, it's actually, I think, increased our value. So maybe there will be additional nuances here that, agencies get to dig into. I hope for my sake. But it is interesting that Google's getting to a position where they can take broad match keywords and expand into an ecosystem and begin bringing you traffic that you didn't even ask for, but is quality. What's frustrating about it, though, is they're doing this right after they took away search terms. And I don't think that was an accident. I think that was very intentional. So if you're not aware, Google is now limiting the search terms that they will provide. Historically, you were able to see every single search term that you paid for, which allowed you to see the continuity between your keyword profile and the search terms that those keywords were catalyzing. Google, I don't know what it was a month ago. It could have been less, but came out and said we're limiting search terms. They claim to only be doing it on a smaller scale, but they also didn't quantify it at all. There was zero quantification offered. So, it's basically up to their discretion. So first they're like, we're limiting search terms, and then, now they come out and say, oh, by the way, start using broad match, which basically means you're not going to be able to see the search term that somebody actually used in order to get to your site, which also means there's a bunch of implications there. You can't gauge the quality of the broad match strategy that they're recommending, A. B, even if it's successful, let's say best case scenario, it's rocking, and you're making a ton of money. You got all these conversions coming in. You don't see what they're coming from. You don't see those search terms potentially. And if that's the case, then you don't have the ability to do things like carve out, phrase and exact match and, niche down into specific campaigns. Google is limiting our ability to control our campaigns at every angle. You can't see search terms. You must use broad match. Like you have to use smart bidding. These are all things that remove power from your hands. Now, the value proposition is you get to take advantage of AI and machine learning, and the machines are going to be better and faster than you and I could ever be. And there is some truth to that. The problem with it is if you cascade yourself into the future, like push yourself forward, what ends up happening if all of us, and this is what they want, but all of us are going to be advertising the same way. It's, here's my domain, here's my credit card, go. You don't have the ability to actually compete. You get what Google gives you. And if they're not happy with you or they don't think you're relevant, there's no way to carve out margin, be creative, identify pockets, look for long tail key phrases. Like the days of strategic advertising are basically coming to an end because we're giving it all up to the computers. So this is legit straight up Skynet right here. Not to be Chicken Little, but it's what it is. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. We'll be testing it on our end. I'll keep you posted on what we experience and what we find. I would anticipate this being kind of hit or miss. I still think they're getting their sea legs under them. They've recommended this before in the past and it's failed. As a matter of fact, it's funny because the 2 testimonials that they offer on their page, this is the Google support page, you'll notice we had our doubts using broad match since we've tested it in the past and found we had less control over search queries. So, immediately this agency's like, yeah, we didn't think that this was going to work. And then here's agency number 2, we've been really surprised. And I think the reason they positioned those 2 case studies in front of us is because they know. They know, like, all right, everybody's been burned before. We've claimed that this is going to work and then it didn't. Let's go, approach that objection head on. And I think they've done a good job with that. So, we'll see. We'll see how well this goes for all of us. Yeah, interested in your thoughts. If you disagree with anything that I've said, please comment and we can battle it out. Like the video if I'm providing any amount of value. And don't forget to subscribe because when I get to 1,000 subscribers, I can go live. And if I go live, we can talk in real time, which would be cool. That's all I got. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.